This is the Run All Over preview show for Barnsley's final game of the season against Reading. I'm joined by Andy Simcox, Alan Smith and Craig Wood. We're going to get stuck into this weekend's game and then a little bit of discussion as well about beyond that as well and what that could look like for the club. So let's get stuck into it. So, Andy, we'll get out of the way now. You've done an away end. You've done an away end with Reading. We know about them. Have you got any sort of spoilers, tips about what we can expect? Because Reading, I can't remember, we've still got a chance at top six.
Yeah. So
they've still got a chance. We've got no to play for.
I spoke to Johnny Hunt from who's been podcasting before, and who does Talking Royals. So he also covers a lot about mental health and seeking mental health support and what have you. And I will say this: Johnny's a smashing guy. Without giving too much away, he was the guy that me and him went on Gabe Sutton's show 3 years ago, and I were giving it large like the fool or like a clown. I were giving it large about, we'll not go down. It'll be them that go down. They bottled it last year when we got in championship playoffs, and they'll bottle it this year. And of course, they didn't bottle it. We bottled it and went down. And they put together a little ditty on Twitter, X if you like, about me being a bit of a clown. So that's been inserted, with a little natter about all things clowns. And they've got an owner that's probably more of a Reading clown than I am, to be honest. So that were all right. Johnny were very frank about their current situation, and it was just a pleasure to talk to. Off the field, awful. I'm not excusing anything within our club, but if you listen to Johnny talk about off the field with his club, ours don't sound as bad. I know that sounds weird. It doesn't sound anywhere near as bad. On the field, however, it's the exact opposite. They've not been able to sign anybody for a while now because Dai Young's been fined. They've had 18 points deducted since he took over about 7 or 8 years ago. They're not allowed, embargoes, and yet they've put a team together that want it and are really going for it. As far as where they stand, it comes down to one game. They're in last position, they're in 6th position, and Reading are in 7th. Exact same number of points, but Leyton Orient have got a better goal difference of 8. However, they're playing us at home, Reading, and Leyton Orient are away to Huddersfield Town, who have been at least as rubbish as us. So, what could happen on the last day? Will it be Reading? Will it be Leyton Orient? If it is Reading, they've got an extension to sell Dai Young's got an extension by the 5th of May to sell the club. If he don't, anything could happen. Just saying they get the playoffs, what they're going to do? Surely to God they'll not fold the club and let them get to the not get to the playoffs. But it's a funny old game, Josh. Who knows? A tense weekend for all concerned, except us.
Yeah, Al, it is. I think it's the only thing sort of left to play for in the league. Obviously, Birmingham champions, Wrexham up automatically. The only two clubs that have got anything to play for are Leyton Orient and Reading. So, and even that is Leyton Orient win. There's nothing really Reading can do much about it at that point unless they beat us. They have to be that if they won, goal difference would go up again. So they have to beat us 9-0, 10-0. Sorry, just to be fair. So it'd be a heck of a swing, but. When Andy's mentioned there, when you look at sides like Reading, who've got a heck of a lot of problems off the pitch, they've still managed to put, when you take that into sort of the context, they put a really strong season together, and it just makes it even more unfathomable of how poor we've been.
It is, isn't it? For all the problems they've got, they've had momentum, and we ain't had momentum at all, have we? Since January, we've been as flat as a pancake. To be honest, Reading on same points as Orient on 75, Orient's 21 goal difference plus, and Reading 13. So unless they beat us 10-0, I can't see that happening. I've been at press conference for Callum Simpson tonight. Just got back to get on the show. and he's got his 7th of June fight against Ivan Zuko coming up at Oakwell. It's been a cracking night, and all Reds fans have been singing praises. And 20 gram Barry Cotter were there and all. Oh, he got some 20 gram Barry Cotter tonight. But no, on Saturday, last away game, Kitman Chris come to see me and says he's going to ask lads to get a win for me. Hopefully they do. Well, hopefully they do, but who knows? They said they were going. Conor said they were going to get a win for me, but they're going to be fighting, aren't they? Is it still Majestic Stadium? I don't know.
No,
they changed their stadium, or it's changed, is it?
I can't remember what he said.
It's the only stadium where I think changes every season.
Well, Tough Sheet does as well, Al. I'm surprised you didn't say it first, though.
I don't need any of them now. I'm all right with them. But yeah, it's going to be interesting what side he puts out. Is he going to tweak it? What's Conor going to do? Is he going to stick what he's got? Is he going to perm it? Who knows? I mean, I went to see under 21s on Monday, and a trialist there with a cracking striker on trialist D from where were he? Tottenham. Yeah. Scored 2 and created 1, and he got pace, power, you name it. He was a solid kid. So watch out for him. He's only 21.
Jaden Summit.
Good. I'm not certain of his name. I think I got a picture of him, but I'm not certain. But he was a class kid. You know, he could hold the ball up against defenders. He held them off. He shielded the ball. He laid it off. And his pace to get penalties were unreal round back at defence.
Jaden Williams.
I thought he was Williams.
He's somebody to look. I mean, he's a bit green, isn't he? To be honest. But he's somebody to look at, I'd say. But the big QPR 4-0.
I'll be up front then on Saturday. I suppose, alongside Clement Rodriguez. One thing that Reading do have in common with us, I suppose, at the minute, Craig, is obviously Noel Hunt's in charge. They're taking over Ruben Sellers. So, again, someone, obviously, an affinity there. Seems like he's managed to galvanise that squad and sort of put away what's been on the back burner, which I think there's a lot of comparisons you can sort of draw from the way Reading have conducted themselves this season, of almost like the team's over here and then whatever's going to be ownership's over there, and them two things have sat separate. And especially when you look at the window in which that in Jan, where they lost the key player in Sam Smith to a promotion rival, and still managed to sort of stay within the hunt and stay where they needed to be. It's testament to sort of the resilience of that squad and that team.
Yeah, I think it just shows the importance of having a good youth setup in any club, because if your team falls on hard times, you've always got a good crop of young players that can possibly move up. Obviously, I think it's been well documented how harshly their club's being run by their owner. But hopefully that comes to a quick and abrupt end as soon as possible, because there's one thing I hate, and that's football clubs having to go out and run properly, to be quite honest with you. The match itself coming up, it's a huge game for them. Like I said, they're going to try and get to playoffs. I think one thing I can say about Noel Hunt is, looking at the results, they seem to avoid defeats. They've had a lot of draws, and I think that's probably helped with obviously the team, and them being. I mean, if a few of them were losses, then they wouldn't have been where they are now. I mean, they seem to be separating the issues behind the scenes very well, and it's going to be a tough game this weekend. And if they're 8 goals behind, I mean, with our defence this season, you never know. We do tend to have a fair few goals whenever we play Reading. I mean, we've had 4 in each of the last 3 times we've played them. So their confidence is through the roof. Our confidence is through the floor. We've not won away in 5. So to be quite honest, everything is pointing to a Reading win. But they need the other match to go in their favour. They need our rivals, Huddersfield, to beat Leyton Orient. So it's going to be quite interesting to see the Reading fans. Do you know when you're watching the game and the crowd reacts when a goal goes in at another game? You're going to hear boos, well, not jeers, or you're going to hear cheers. It's going to be quite interesting. But to be quite honest, I'm pleased for Reading fans. They're a good fan base, and I don't agree with any club being run the way that they've been run. Just the same as I felt with Blackpool as well. I think good owners should come into football because football fans need football. We all love this sport, and I think it's times like this when football comes together. A lot divide us, but there's definitely one thing that pulls a lot of fans together, and that's bad owners. Nobody wants bad owners. Get them out of football.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just echoing that sentiment there of it is sort of sad to see what the Reading fans have had to go through, and sort of there's still an air of uncertainty around everything already. Because I think originally, well, before the last game of the season, weren't it, that they were supposed to have everything sort of squared away and they've been granted an extension.
Well, apparently, I've just been reading a couple of articles and they've agreed terms-ish, but they've got the deadline. They've got to get it done before the deadline.
Which I imagine if it's not done, they probably will extend it again just to.
Yeah, they're always flexible with these sort of things. They'd rather extend it than see a club fold. Quite honest, and the uproar from the football EFL community as a whole would, it'd not be good if they didn't let it get sold. So,
from what Johnny was telling me, De Jong keeps getting fined. Over the last few years, keeps getting fined and just don't pay it. Don't pay the fines.
But the thing is, these owners.
He's gone missing, and he's going to what I'm not sure.
Is what?
Their owner has gone into hiding.
Yeah.
These owners that come in and buy these clubs, they've got millions and millions and millions of pounds, including our owners. A fine doesn't. It's nothing off no skin off their nose. They can make that in a day or less.
Then pay it.
Fines. Yeah, but fines don't matter to these people. There need to be things in place where you get criminal charges for not doing things properly.
He's been told he's been told by the EFL that he's got to sell it. It's taken a long time to get here, Craig, but he's been told that he's not a fit and proper person, and he's got to sell it. And that's what the deadline is. Got to sell it now. Keeps being extended. He's got to sell it by the 5th of May.
And with Gary Neville, with all that he's been saying about getting proper and fit owners and stuff, and having somebody that could regulate it all and everything.
What, Josh's cat? Josh's cat got to do it.
Oh, Gary Neville.
That is the Gary Neville.
That's the Gary Neville, not the
one that used to play one and only.
Yeah.
I'm on about that Mank lad.
Never heard of him. Never heard of him. Yeah. It certainly will be interesting. I know one thing that has happened this week as well, which I've just remembered in the last 5 minutes, is the season awards were undertaken during the week as well. And did no real surprise on the winner of player of the season, etc.
Was Keeler done by any chance? Only one that's done out this season.
Yeah, there's no real surprise.
He got Sheffield Star Awards as well last night and all.
Yeah, which may make sense for the season, which is added. And obviously, Young Lads, which a 3-player joint award for Young Player of the Year. Of Bland, Jello, and Flavel, which it's a bit woke. Splitting it between three.
Very woke. Very woke. There ain't no losers here.
Just pick one of them. Andy, how do you feel about it? Because it
just means awareness, Josh. Woke. You can't live in Manchester and not be woke. It just means awareness. It means you've got some social awareness.
It means one person wins an award, not 3 for best player.
Depends.
How do you feel? Well, I'm assuming you agree with the choice of player of the season, etc. Because it's not like there's been a load of players that we can choose from this season.
For me, there's been a number of players that have blown hot and cold. We started ordinarily at the start of the season, then we had a lull. For me, 2 games away to Huddersfield that we lost 2-0 with virtually 2 different teams, one in the league and one in that Daft Cup. Just showed that we didn't have a clue about tactics or anything like that. And of course, the 7-0 hammering at Manchester United just absolutely exposed. There she is. Gary's behind you now. Young Gary's there on Windowsill.
He's going, I will mention what
You mentioned Gary Neville, and he appears as if by magic, a black cat and all, as if by magic. But those two games just showed that we were clueless. They got together and we had an upturn, and then it all went belly up against Orient, which was dreadful conditions, but dreadful play for us, particularly towards the end when they just ran riot and we were clueless. They got together and put a great run together. 5 winning matches on the trot, including away to Wickham, at home to Wrexham, and Bolton. So, some good wins, and then no investment, or the investment was shockingly poor. And we signed players towards the end of the window that rarely played, maybe played a couple of minutes here and a couple of minutes there, or not at all, more often than not. If they weren't injured, I've got some hopes for Neil Ferrugia, but he'd been injured. Didn't get what we needed, didn't kick on, and from a strong position of fifth, we just nosedived. And as Craig said last season, dropped like a stone this season. Craig was just a season out, but he were absolutely right. Dropped like a stone, and I cannot, truthfully, I keep thinking about it, I can't understand why it's happened. I just don't understand. I know we need fresh bodies in to, freshen it up a little bit, but we didn't get anything like the fresh bodies, and it's been a deplorable end to the season. Some bits of play that's been all right, but defensively, collectively, it's been poor as a defence. Individually, I don't think I've ever seen any football team, let alone our team, give so many massive individual mistakes to give goals. Trying to hit back to the goalkeeper, shielding it back to the goalkeeper, trying to shield it out to play. The whole thing. So many, not one or two, so many of them. It were shockingly poor defending, like I say, individually and collectively. So we are where we are. We've dropped like a stone from fifth down to wherever we currently are. Is it 15, something like that? Pardon?
I think we're still 12th, aren't we?
We must have won two that I didn't realise.
We'll be down to 15th by Sunday.
It depends on how, because we're in tightest part of the league, I think. I think one win.
But I will say this: I'm just clutching now. I'm just clutching. We were on his way out at the last match of the season away to Brentford. They were going into playoffs and likely to go up into Premier League and what have you. And we were down and out, and we turned it around and beat them with an injury time winner. So it's not all anything's possible when 11 people are playing 11 people, even us.
Far too positive. Al, obviously, as we said there, the sort of shining light this season, whilst players have blown hot and cold, the one player that's probably the most consistent of anyone and has delivered on a regular basis is Davis Keeler-Dunn, who rightfully picked up Player of the Season. I think he also got Player of the Season as well. So thoroughly deserved award for him, I think, this season.
It's had a cracking season, isn't it? It took a while for him to get going, to be honest. When he came late January, wasn't he? He come after we played Mansfield, didn't he?
Yeah, August.
Against us, and then we signed him. And nice to hear that you got his name correct, Josh.
Which name's that, Al?
You of all people have said that, Al. Outrageous.
We were talking about Callum Rodriguez, Josh. It's Clement.
Keeler
I think
Davis.
it's the first season I can remember that we've used. Is it 6 goalkeepers?
I think so.
I ran out.
I've never known a Barnsley side as many goalkeepers have we utilised this season.
Could do him all playing at once, Al.
And keepers getting injured. Wow, get in there. I think Russell's picked up second half of the season. We saw best of Johnny Russell, but defensively we've been at 6 and 7s. We've got to start in new season. We've got to start strong at the back. We've got to fix it. We've got to start in defence and build from defence and have a strong defence. But who knows? Retain list that should be coming out. What would you say? 10 days after the final game.
Apparently, it's coming out on Monday.
Right.
It's coming out on Monday, apparently.
Well, I guess what to talk about next week, then, won't it?
Suppose so. Craig, obviously, there's not really too much to talk about in terms of the player of the season awards because David Skeeler done won all of them. But Johnny Russell with a late winner of goal of the season against Peterborough, which it's up there. I'm not sure if it is best goal we've scored this season, though, to be honest.
I don't know. I think pretty top
It's
wins,
up
to
there.
be fair.
It's up there. It was just one of them. It just seemed a bit. I think it's because he made it look so easy for me. Like he just seemed to stroke it into the top corner. It just flew in.
I think that's what made it so good.
Yeah, I
The
think you're
fact
right.
is,
I think
we've
you're right.
seen him shank it from a lot closer than that, and it leaves stadium. You know, so to see him, that was a beautiful strike. I'm not taking it away from him anyway. I think it was a fabulous strike, and I think we needed to see something good from Barnsley to keep us engaged for next season. You know, there's a lot of work needs doing. I think if you listen, well, if you go on Barnsley Chronicle and you read what Mark Roberts has had to say about the situation, he highlights everything perfectly. You know, you've got to back Connor. If you're giving him the job, you've got to back him, because if all I keep hearing is attention to detail and how much he loves the club and the ideas he has. And everything I'm hearing from Connor is what I want to hear. But I don't think it's just lip service that I'm used to hearing. Like somebody just says something that you want to hear just to keep you sweet. I think he genuinely believes what he's saying, because he seems to have a bit of passion in his voice. But yet again, it just comes back to the same old question, the same old things I start every season saying. You can have the best manager in the world, but if you don't back him, he will fail. And that is exactly what's going to happen to Connor if they don't back him.
I've never seen an interview like that from a player after a game, Rob.
I think it's
the way he says everything, that it's unacceptable. It's got to be looked up from top to bottom. We've all got to take responsibility. That was some interview.
The reason why is because he's a Barnsley lad. He's coming to end in his career and he just don't care. He wants to speak the truth. He wants them to know exactly how the players feel.
And
I think, and the fans, yeah, exactly. And do you know what? Mark Roberts, that's what a captain should do. You come out and you say the unspeakable truths that the people upstairs don't want to hear. You've got to say things that need saying. You know, you don't want to be thinking, oh, well, I might not get a new contract if I start playing up, or, you know, say it how it is. Because at the end of the day, nobody improves by you telling them what they want to hear. You know, end of the day, as a club, if you're going to grow and you're going to get better, there's got to be difficult conversations, and it's got to come from the top to the bottom. You know, and look, end of the day, I think everybody knows where we stand next season. Connor's got his ideas. Just back him and give him what he needs.
There you go. That's next season sorted then. So that's all we need to do. As easy as that. Right. Predictions.
Say what easy.
No, it's just it feels like it should be though. No, it feels like it should be easier.
Well,
like all you
there's
need
no
to do,
guarantees, but yeah,
no, but all
like
you
I
need
say,
to do is identify targets, get them in early, move on players we don't need, give Connor the time to implement stuff. Like it's
we
not.
need players in, lads, for pre-season,
Yeah, it's not something that's.
not last minute.
It's not outrageous to ask that of the club to one. All you're saying is be organised and be proactive. That's all they need to do. Like it's not hard things to do, but
It's easy,
something
Joe.
we've struggled with.
Score more goals than other team scores. Or as Alan says, it's a funny old game. It's a game of two halves, and Alan's sick of seeing a game of two halves. Aye, Al. Got
I am
to see one
just
game
want
of
90
both
minutes.
halves.
To be honest, it would be nice to see 90 minutes of passion, heart, and desire.
I think we should all have banners that said, "Give us 90 minutes."
Or do not concede after 70 odd minutes. That'd be nice.
Yeah, don't go into a
Except
flat
this
back
show.
11 after 75 minutes.
Yeah.
Don't get 90 minutes of us four banging on about notice summit. Nobody
What
wants
else
that.
will they listen to?
Right, predictions. But before we do that, quick flick up of the stats pack. So, manager Noel Hunt, top scorer Harvey Nibbs with 14 this season. Sat 7th in the league. Form, win, draw, loss, 2 wins. Key player Lewis Wing, formation 4-2-3-1. And key stat is Reading have drawn the 4th most amount of games this season with 12, which feels like nothing compared to Blackpool's 17. Which fair play to Blackpool. Andy, what are you going for?
there's a few things to watch for. Like you say, Harvey Nibbs are scoring good goals. They sold Sam Smith to Wrexham, which is a good thing because he scored both goals in the 2-2 draw at Oakwell. So I'm devastated that he's gone. They've got Robbie Savage's lad Charlie playing for him, who's according to Johnny Hunt, doesn't shirk a tackle. And like you've said already, Lewis Wing, ex-Rotherham United, good player, a good player in central midfield. So it's going to be a bit of a battle there. Can our defence keep him out? On the away end, just a little plug, on the away end that's available now. I said 3-1 to them, and I got no reason to say any difference. I think it's going to be 3-1 to Reading, sadly.
There's Al.
Well, we've only won two in New Year, haven't we? Since turn the year. Northampton 2-1 and Rotherham 1-0. That's the only games we've won. So
beat what, away from home?
Yeah, away from home.
Oh yeah, sorry, beat.
We've only won two away from home.
Yeah, away from home.
And we handed 3-1 to Reading. They want it more than us. We're playing for nothing, are we? Except for pride and trying to keep a contract at a football club. Simple as that.
Well, that's it then. Just play out players out of contract and we'll hammer them 5-0. Craig?
Well, I'm going to say 3-1 and all. But I'm going to be different. I'm going to be different.
No, do it, because then it'll be interesting.
Go on.
Right. I'll go 3-1 to Reading because there's been 4 goals in the last 3 times we've played them.
and
I think we're dogging and we're going to lose.
Oh, there you go. I'm going to go 3-1 to Reading as well.
It's a full out. Full out.
That's why I didn't want you to change it, Craig, because that's what I fancied.
The thing is, everybody around here, right, we all decide what score we're going to do before we do this video. And the fact that we've all gone 3-1 Reading, I think it's amusing.
We're going to win now.
Oh, yeah. We'll send another 4 notes.
And and thank you for watching the Doom and Gloom show.
Yes. Just before we do finish, I would like to say a huge thanks to everyone who supported the show this season. If it's through contributions, liking the show, commenting on the show, sharing the show on social medias, everything like that. We really, really appreciate everything that everyone does and helps with. It really helps the show grow as well. And also a massive thank you to all our business support as well. Tune Business, Beckett's Rentals, Housing Camper Vans, Oaks, Working Men's Club and Sunshine Day Spa. You really do help us keep the show going throughout the season. So huge thank you to you guys as well.
Thank you everybody who is supporting me in my cancer journey. It's much appreciated and I send in my love to all and every one of you. Thank you very much.
On that note, we'll see you on our reaction show on Sunday, the final one of the season. We'll see you there, you Reds.